Hey there LT gamers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom and today we've got something really epic lined up for you. We're doing a preview video of the upcoming title Cataclismo. This game is a dark fantasy RTS that blends base building with tower defense, and it's shaping up to be a real gem in my opinion. A big thanks to Hooded Horse for giving me early access to the game. I've been diving deep into the mechanics and the story. I'm here to share all the juicy details with you. Mark your calendars, the full release is coming up on the 22nd of July. I will drop a review video before the release, and so if you like what you see today, be sure to check that one out today and hit the wishlist link below and show some love to the dev. For those of you who are familiar with the game Moonlighter, you're going to be in for a real treat. The creative minds at Digital Sun are back with Cataclismo, a game where you'll be building castles brick by brick, defending against relentless swarms of horrors, making tactical choices that could save your skin, and you'll on top of that manage your citadel's production, train a diverse range of troops, design your fortresses, and withstand all that is thrown at you. Alright, let's dive in and see what Cataclismo has in store for us. I think the ideal place to jump into a preview is with the story and setting, and Cataclismo's story kicks off after a catastrophic event known as the Cataclismo, which pretty much shattered the world as people knew it. Cities have been laid to waste, humanity is on the brink of extinction, and the last city is your final stronghold, constantly under siege by the relentless horrors. And this is where you come in. Stone by stone, you're going to be rebuilding the fortresses, reclaiming the ruins that lie in the deadly mist, and lead the charge to restore what is lost. The world of Cataclismo is dark, gritty, and filled with a sense of dread. It really permeates this game. But it is beautifully crafted. It is a blend of dark fantasy and there's a touch of Hispanic influence in there, and it adds a really cool and quite distinct vibe to the game, something quite unique I would say. So expect a mood that's often somber and heavy, but don't get too comfortable. There is intense action when the horrors close in on your settlements, so it's a mix of careful strategy and all-out frantic defense I would say. The world is rich with lore, key locations to explore and factions to encounter, and each area you reclaim adds depth to the story as there's new challenges to overcome. All in all, Cataclismo is quite an immersive, dark, moody game that pulls you in and keeps you on your toes with this dynamic atmosphere and edgy gameplay. Alright, so the meat and bones of a game like Cataclismo is going to lie in the gameplay mechanics, and it is a combination of real-time strategy and tower defense ultimately. By day, you take on the role of architect. You have to gather resources, you have to use this Lego-inspired mechanics to build up your stronghold, and you need to think about your layouts, the weather, traps, troop placement, and all of those things. When night falls, it switches gears and becomes an RTS. Hordes come to tear down everything you've built up very eloquently, and there is a realistic physics system at play. So falling bricks can crush your enemies, but they can also cave in under your own troops, so it really adds that extra veneer of strategy. Inside the Citadel, it is a bustling economic scene. You construct key buildings and you try to reach new prosperity levels. There is a robust economic and building system that challenges you to optimize production chains and base mechanics. In the beginning, for example, I was just willy-nilly placing my buildings around, but then I started to see I don't have really optimal paths back to my Citadel and it's hurting my resource gathering, so there is a lot of elements to balance with this one. Combat is where you put your strategy hat on. You have a wide range of soldiers, and positioning them tactically to suit their roles is kind of key and integral here. The height and elevation is a huge factor, for example. Every meter counts. Bowmen placed high are going to really give you an advantage, whereas your bulky lobbers need to be a bit lower to the ground. So things like this you have to be cognizant of from a strategic point of view. I found the gameplay to be surprisingly complex and challenging so far. There is quite a difficulty spike, I gotta say. Some find that appealing, others might find it a bit daunting. Unique powers, elevation mechanics, a multitude of combat factors. It does feel a little bit overwhelming at first, but it got easier each session I played. Overall, it's a rich, engaging gameplay experience. This is going to test your strategic thinking, but also your creative thinking and adaptability. Alright, so I have to touch upon the visuals and audio that I've seen so far in Cataclismo, because they're a big part of what makes this game so immersive. The visual style, it's like stepping into a beautifully dark comic book or visual novel. The environments are bleak and they have a very Darkest Dungeon-esque vibe to them, and it really contributed to an atmosphere for me. The character designs are detailed and there's a lot of that fits perfectly to the game world, and it creates a cohesive and visual experience. I did find the UI a bit finicky, particularly in the building menus. It took some getting used to, but I think this is just having more time spent in the game. Sound design and the soundtrack are a treat, I've got to say. The soundtrack really contributes to the dark fantasy atmosphere. The music's foreboding when it needs to be, and it ramps up the tension when you want that as well in those frantic moments. So it perfectly matched the on-screen action. Overall, the graphics were a real treat as well. They created a deeply immersive experience that drew me into this dark, gritty world and kept me on the edge of my seat. So while the UI might require a bit of learning curve, I gotta say the audio-visual journey made up for it. So it's not just a fun game to play, it was also a feast for the eyes and the ears. Alright, let's take a brief moment to talk about the folks at Digital Sun, who is the team behind Cataclismo. This game is coming into early access, so please note that caveat. I'm not too worried, as this studio does have a great track record of delivering quality titles, so they've got some experience to back things up. They've mentioned they're looking at a period of around 1 year for the early access, but it could change depending on player feedback. They seem very committed to listening and shaping the game based upon the input from the players. I haven't really dived into many of the game modes yet. I've only touched upon the single player campaign, but there is going to be the survival mode where you face increasingly challenging horrors. There's going to be the creative mode where you construct without the danger and you can just build your dream fortress. And then there's going to be the skirmish mode, which is your handcrafted, cleverly designed maps to put your strategies to the test. To recap, we've kind of looked at the story, the setting, the gameplay mechanics and the presentation, and it is shaping up, I think, to be a sleeper hit for 2024. Thanks for watching this preview video, guys. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more gaming content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and drop a thumbs up for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye bye now.